Konnichiwa. Hello friends. G'day. I'm Heather. I've got 5 books, 5 authors to introduce you to today. And if you are a lover of the indie self-pub world, like myself, then stay tuned because I have 5 authors that I think you're gonna like. First up, we have Joshua Scott Edwards, and I was kindly sent a review copy of this, and I am really sorry that I haven't read it yet. It's on the tippity top of my want to reads. Promise. So, the book that came to the forefront of my visione, that's not a thing. I'm sorry. It is An Ocean of Others by Joshua Scott Edwards. That's the book that brought him to my eyeballs. And the tagline is, remember what's real or your head will be theirs. Bit violent, but I love it. I absolutely adore it. So it says, survival is never easy, but it's never been harder for Grim, the last bounty hunter in Lewican. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, Joshua. Survived the great riot that killed Lewa by thousands, endured the bloody chaos that ruled the city in its aftermath, and avoided the crushing fists of the agency created to quell the unrest. Rule of law returned, but following the rules doesn't put food in your belly. On a job gone wrong, Grim stumbles into a conspiracy that targets Ulcan, the head of the agency, a man who has done more to ruin Grim's life than any other. Struggling to earn honest coin, Grim plans to use this information to rise quickly through the ranks of the organisation so an empty purse never worries him again. He becomes a finger of the agency, joining a sardonic ranger, 2 fugitive siblings, a stone-skinned scar dwarf, and a powerful dark mage, none of whom know any better than Grim what they've gotten themselves into. I mean, underhanded plot to overthrow the man. I'm down. I am down. Get down. I'm down. I'm all over that. All on it, all in it and around it. I just mentioned it a million times before. Physical reading is not my friend. And my body and my mind just automatically go to audiobooks. But there's so many of these indie books I really want to get to, so I will try my best to get to this ASAP, okay? I will, promise. So the next one is Stephen McKinnon, and the book that came to mind, that came onto my radar, should I say, was Symphony of the Wind. And I will read you the synopsis, and you will see why it came onto my radar. Serena dreams of leaving her unforgiving desert home far behind in a very own airship. But when an assassin's knife meant for Serena kills her friend instead, the rebellious orphan ventures into the corrupt heart of the kingdom to discover who put a price on her head. With each new turn she edges closer to uncovering the awful truth and the mystical powers brewing deep within her. I'm just going to leave it there. Just thoughts? Told you you'd like it. Told you you'd like it. And I wasn't wrong, was I? Because it's intrigued you, hasn't it? It's piqued your interest. The next one is, I think this is marketed as a space opera, question mark? But this is like a superhero in space. So it's your definition of fantasy sci-fi. And I'm down. And so many people absolutely love this book. Anyway, so the Ildrak have conquered half a galaxy behind the civilization-ending powers of their mixed species children. Half-human Rohan, exhausted by a decade fighting for the Empire, has paid a secret and a terrible price for his freedom. Now retired, he strives to live a quiet life, towing starships for the space station Wistful. His most pressing problems are finding the perfect cup of coffee and talking to a gorgeous shuttle tech without tripping over his tongue. And nearby a long dormant wormhole is opened by a ship full of scared, angry refugees, and the many eyes of the Empire focus comfortably on Wistful. As scientists, spies, and assassins converge, reverted to the monster the Empire created is the surest way to protect his friends, and the surest way to lose them. I mean, if that does not just pull you in and make you think, I'm picking it up right now. Again, I don't know why I've not picked this up. I'm an idiot, I know I am. But it's on my radar. Is it now going to be on your radar? If he is, let me know. Let me know what you think when you read it. And yeah, that is all I ask. If I influence one person in my life to read any of these books, you might even get to it before me, I don't know. But these are authors that I'm really excited by. anyone in these videos I'm really excited by. So next up, we have a book that I've actually read by an author that came onto the forefront of my brain when SBFBO8 was announced. Obviously, like, loads of indie authors submitted their books, and Trudy Skies, the author of the series Cool Gods, the first book being The 13th Hour, it sparked my attention. Please look at the cover. Look at the amazeballs-ness of this cover. And then I read the synopsis and I was like, call me intrigued, friend. I wanted a giveaway. And I was like, well, I've got to read it now. And then they became an SBFBO8 finalist. And then I was like, well, I definitely am reading it now because I'm doing videos on the SBFBO8 finalists. And then there was an audiobook as well. They all just came together, which means I've read it this month. So this follows Kale and Quen. Kale is living a life, not very honestly, but she is one of the godless who is just, she just doesn't believe in a god. Basically, right, okay, I might need to explain this bit to you. So basically, every one of these different, like, species, races, people's domains have, like, a god that's, like, part of their domain. And then some of these people from these different domains are living in Chime, which is, like, a multicultural, like, central domain thing. I'm not explaining it very well, but it is what it is, you know. And then, like, so Vespers have their own god, Umbras have their own god, Mesmers have their own god. Do you know what I mean? They have to praise their gods and they have to be, like, subservient to their gods. And then they've got this group of people that don't pray to their gods, that don't want to worship their gods because they think that the gods are just cruel. Obviously, as per series name. Things ain't true. So Kale is one of the godless. Quen is a warden who is one of the diviners who are out to cleanse Chime of the godless and, like, put them away and, like, just monitor and police Chime to make it a great place where everyone coexists and is equal, but they're not equal. They're really not. And I don't know how Trudy does this, but the fact that, like, the things that go on in this book really make you think about the way society is in, like, our, like, real lives, and, like, the inequality that happens, and the inequality that happens that is not acknowledged and just kind of brushed under the table. And just, it really, I don't know if it did it, if you've read the book, could you let me know if you felt the same way? That it just sort of, like, well, that is society today. And I don't know if there was, like, a purposeful, like, correlation, relationship that they wanted to show, and, like, it was like a social discussion. I don't want to go into a social discussion with you right now because this is just a book recommendation, author recommendation video, but I'm just saying, if you felt the same way about it as I did, please let me know so we can discuss, because it was just like little droplets of things, and I'm being very animated because I'm very excited about this book. I want to know your thoughts and feelings upon it, so we can share, we can discuss. I like discussing books with people. Obviously, I have a fucking channel. That's what I do. And finally, another book that's on my radar that was sent to me for review, but I didn't get around to reviewing it, but I did promote it on my Instagram or Twitter, is No Land for Heroes by Cal Black. Now, she is an author that I've just had in my brain for a while. And then and then Andrew from Wizardly Reads, he has read this book and he loves it. It's like a fantasy, but like a western, like a yeehaw kind of. I don't know why I described western like that. I apologise. It's that kind of western though. It's like a yeehaw western fantasy. It's just very, very intriguing. And the tagline is Mildred Berry is down to her last 4 bullets. I love that in, like, when that scene happens in films, and, like, if they're in like, they're hiding and they're being, like, ambushed and they're like, I've only got a bullet left, or, like, do you know what I mean, like, I'm down to my last 2 bullets, like, that anticipation, that feeling, the adrenaline rush that you get, is like, how are they going to get out of this situation? 99.9% of the time they conveniently get out and, like, unscathed, or, like, you think they're going to die but then they don't. But, you know, it is what it is with those kinds of films, and I'm not saying that, like, I do like that sometimes, but, like, when I read that tagline, I was like, oh, in my brain, there's that, like, being ambushed, and she's like, I've only got 4 bullets left. Do you know what I mean? Am I weird? Does that make sense? But yeah, anyway, I'm going to read the rest of the synopsis to you so I don't look like a dickhead. In the Wild West, where the only things more dangerous than outlaws are dragons, that's where the fantasy comes in, Deputy Berry is struggling to protect her town and keep her family fed. As a last resort, she robs a train for ammunition only to find that the cargo she needs so badly was owned by a war hero, Frederick Russo. The same Frederick Russo who she saved during the Melior Civil War. The same Frederick Russo she's been hiding from for the last 5 years. Millie knows a secret that could ruin Russo's life, and he'll stop at nothing to keep her from telling the truth. With her violent past bearing down on the life she's built for herself, Millie has to decide how far she'll be willing to go to keep her town safe. So it's kind of like she's a sheriff, but it's like she tries to turn her life around, but then she's been pulled back into this nasty world that she's in before. It's just good. It just sounds so good. And page-wise, I don't think it's only 374 pages. So bitch, I could read that in a day. Why I don't, I have no idea. But there we go. Those are my 5 for March. I apologise for getting overly excited about some of these books, but I mean, if I wasn't excited about them and I just read them and I was really bland and like low, you'd be like, well, clearly you don't like them that much, or you're not that excited about them because you look like you've been slapped in the face. Do you know what I mean? So I hope the fact that I'm excited about these books makes you realise that genuinely I'm excited about reading these books and that they genuinely interest me. But it is what it is. If you do like these videos and you do like me, then please like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. If you want to let me know you're here but you don't have anything much to say, the black hat is very much appreciated. If you, as always, have any recommendations for any books, not just indie books, any books at all, then there's a Google form down below. Just quickly fill it in and I will be picking some books to review in videos coming up over the next few months and weeks and whatnot. And I will be also doing reviews on those books as well. So that's it from me, guys. Sound off down below. Are you interested in any of these books? I really want to know. Have you read any of these books? If you've read any of these books that I mentioned in this series, can you please just message me so we can discuss? And I genuinely mean that, because although some of my friends, my close friends, have picked up some of the indie authors that I recommend, they're not as into the high fantasy indie authors that I am, and I need people that I can just freak out and discuss these books with. Thank you very much. Enjoy.
Every time I fall in love, it seems to be